Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Happy to see you in another video. In today's video, I will be covering three concepts: the group by clause, the having clause, and also the order by clause. We will start with looking at a very simple database and apply these concepts. And then we'll also look at a database which is a little more business oriented, a marketing database, and we'll try to apply the same concepts so that it is easy for you guys to follow. So let's dive right into the video. If you have not watched the previous video on the basics of the group by clause or the where clause, do check out the description. I have linked those videos as well if you're new to the channel. If you like the content, do subscribe to the channel and follow the channel for further insightful content on data analytical tools. So let's dive right into the video. So as you see, today I have a new and very simple database as well. It's the cricket database and the table name is marks. So I've created a new table called marks, wherein you have like the ID of the student, the name of the student, the section he belongs to. So as you see, we have two sections. Some students belong to section A, some students belong to section B. And then I have some of their marks from their midterm exams. And I also have their final exam marks, right? So basically I have their marks for the midterm and then also for the final. So where can we use the group by clause? Say you wanted to see the total midterm marks scored by the students, but at a section level, right? You want to see what is the total marks scored by students of section A, and the same thing for students of section B, like the total midterm marks. How we would do that in SQL is by using the group by clause. So you'll first write the name of the column you want to aggregate. Here, in this case, it is section. Then I would write the column which I want to aggregate. So here it's the midterm marks column and I want to do the total, right? So I want to do the sum. So I'll select the sum and then the name of the column is midterm marks. All right. From the name of the database dot name of the table, and then you will just put group by section. As simple as that, right? Very simple query. You group it by section and you want to find the sum of the midterm marks. When I run this query, so you see, I'll see, okay, the total midterm marks of all the students in section A comes out to be 446 and it is 404, right? For section B. Very simple. So say, I want to also add the final term marks, right? I'll just select the table again. So just do a select star. So apart from the sum of the midterm marks, I also want to see the sum of the final exam marks, again grouped at section level. So I could just select section, then put a comma. First, as usual, let's put midterm marks. Then I put a comma. I also want to see the final exam marks. So I can put a sum of final exam marks and then I group by section. Okay. So as you see, all the students of A, section A, got a total of 446 in the midterm marks and they got a total of 380 the final exam. Whereas B, they got 404 in the midterm exam and they got 389 total marks in the final exam. Okay. This is a simple use case of the group by clause. Okay. We could also, if you want to, instead of knowing the total of the final exam marks, say you want to know the average of the final exam mark, you could just do that in SQL by changing the sum to average. AVG is the function. So by doing that, now we will see the sum total for the midterm marks, but we'll see the average value for the final exam marks, again grouped at a section level, as you say, section A, section B. Same way, you could just continue extrapolating. You could find the minimum of the final exam marks. So you see, this is the minimum value for section A. The minimum final exam mark was 56. For section B, minimum final exam mark was 49. And you could do the same with max as well. Okay, very simple. Let's move on to the second part now, which is the having clause. Okay, so having clause is used to apply a condition on an aggregated function, right? What does this mean? So if you remember the previous videos, we had used the where clause to put filter conditions, right? Like saying where country equal to UK, or where a certain metric like click is greater than 20, right? We used a where filter to put a condition on an existing column. But in this case, right, when we use the group by statement, as you see, we also are using the aggregated function. So we are using not just the midterm marks, but the sum of the midterm marks, right? Say, I want to now put a filter on this, and I want to only display those sections where the sum, right, the sum of the midterm marks is greater than 425, right? I want to see only sections where the total of the midterm marks is greater than 425. I can use the having clause, right? And how do you do it in SQL? So basically the query remains the same here, as you see. So I will remove the final example for now. I'll just keep the midterm marks. So section comma the sum from this table, then you group by section. And now, as I said, I want to see only those sections where the midterm marks total is greater than 425. So I'll go below the group and I'll put having, and then I'll select that column, right? Sum of midterm marks. So that aggregated column, and I will put the value greater than 425. So by putting that, let's see what happens. We just get A. Why? Because B had a value which was less than 425, right? So if I put greater than 400, then I get both because B is also greater than 400. Same way, if I put less than 430, for example, then we will only get B because B is less than 430. A is obviously more than 430. So when I put less than 430, then I get only B. Right? So this having can be used to put a condition on an already aggregated column, like sum of a column or averages of a column, right? This is the simple use case of having clause, very powerful. Let's move on to the third part now. So order by clause, right? So what is order by clauses? As you all might know, we know ascending order, descending order, right? Ordering an items in a particular order. So we can use that in SQL as well. So if you see this output, right, what we can see is the output is coming in a way where, we have A, and then we have section B, and we have the sum, right? But say I wanted to order it in ascending order according to the sum of midterm marks, right? So I want B to be first because it has a lower midterm mark total, right? How I would do that is, we can give this column like an alias name, like just like an alternative name. I'll be like as total marks. So this is the first thing that goes in. The rest of it remains the same, section comma this group by section. Then I can put order by, and then whatever new column I like new name I've given now, total marks, I select that, and then I say ascending, right? You don't need to put ascending, default is ascending, but you can also say ascending. But let's see if I run this, what happens. You see B comes first because the total marks is lower and I want to do it in ascending order. But to do it in descending order, we need to specify. So write order by total marks, then write descending. DESC is the keyword, remember that. So now when I run this, A comes on top because I want the marks to be sorted in descending order. The biggest or the highest mark comes first, right? This is how you could use order by clause, okay? So 3 simple examples to understand group by, having, and order by. Now let's dive into the other little bit advanced business data, which we already saw in the last class. As you see, this data has the name of the market / country. So you have Russia, Australia, Chile, India, New Zealand, and so on. We have the name of the audience, again, children, old people, adults, and so on. We have the name of the marketing campaign. So did the person come through Google or through Facebook or through email and all that, right? And then we have some marketing metrics like the number of clicks on that campaign and how much did it cost for the company, like as an advertiser, and the sum of the fees. Okay. So basically just some numerical columns to understand, right? So say here we want to see the total cost and also the average of the fees aggregated at a country level. How would we do that using the group by clause? Very simple. So I will first select market / country, whatever that is. Then I said I want to see the sum of the cost, right? So I put sum of cost. Then I want to see the average of the fees. So I put average of fees, as simple as that. And then I can group by market, right? So when I run this, what I get is for each of the markets, I get the total value of the cost and I get the average value of the fees, right? As you see, we have 7 countries here: Pakistan, Argentina, Russia, Australia, Chile, India, and New Zealand, right? This is how you can do a group by, okay? In the same thing, assume that I want to go a little bit further and implement a condition. I want to only see the output where the sum of the cost for that particular market is greater than 15,000. Okay. How would we do that? We would implement the having clause. So the conditions are the same. And then I would just put having the sum of cost, right? That column is greater than 15,000. So ideally what should happen is countries like India, like Chile, Russia and all should go away because their value is less than 15,000. So let's run this. So you see only we get 2 outputs, New Zealand and Australia. Only these have sum of the cost, right? The total greater than 15,000, right? This is how we could use having. Same way we could also put, say, less than 15,000. So when I run this, obviously the remaining outputs come, you see, RSA, which is Russia, then Argentina, Chile, Pakistan, and India, right? Because these are all less than 15,000. So no more Australia, New Zealand is visible now, right? So let me delete this and show this again. And say, for example, you want to use the order by clause. How would you do that here? Can we run the same thing and say, I want to arrange the output wherein the cost, right? The total cost is in descending order. How would I do that? I would just say after the group by, order by, and I would say sum of the cost, right? You could use the same name as well, or you could give it an alias name as I showed you in the previous example. So I would say order by sum of cost, and I want it descending. So I put descending, and you see Australia comes first because it has the highest cost, then New Zealand, then India, and so on. It is arranged in descending order, right? So very powerful group by, having an order by. Each of them have their own applications, useful in aggregated data and sorting / arranging data. And also having is used when we put a condition on an already aggregated column. Thank you for watching the video. I'll see you again in other videos. If you like the video, do subscribe to the channel and keep supporting the channel. That will help me a lot in making more relevant videos for this topics. Thank you. I will see you again in another video.